What if the secret to success is not in what you do, but in understanding why you do it? Why do some companies like Apple dominate their industry, while others with similar resources disappear into the crowd? Welcome to LinkG Biography Channel. Discover powerful audiobook summaries and inspiring life stories to fuel your personal and professional growth. Today, we are diving into one of the most thought-provoking books on leadership and inspiration. Start with Why. This is not just a business book. It's a guide to finding your purpose, building trust, and leading with impact. In this audiobook summary, you will learn why people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The golden circle that drives true leadership. And how starting with why can transform your personal and professional life. If you've ever wanted to influence, lead, or live more meaningfully, this journey is for you. Let's begin with Chapter 1, where we uncover the power of asking one simple question: why? Chapter 1, Assume you know. Have you ever felt sure about something, only to realize later that you were completely wrong? That moment teaches us a powerful lesson: assumptions are dangerous. In this chapter, we explore how most failures, in life and business, happen not because of lack of intelligence, but because of false assumptions. Many people and companies think they already understand their customers, their employees, or even themselves. But that confidence often leads them in the wrong direction. When we assume we know everything, we stop listening. We stop asking questions. And that's where the real problem begins. Great leaders do something different. They stay curious. They question everything, especially their own beliefs. The chapter reminds us that we should not just accept the obvious answer. Instead, we should dig deeper. Ask, why are we doing this? That question opens the door to purpose and innovation. So, if you want to lead with clarity, first let go of your assumptions. Because real insight begins when you admit, you don't know it all. But if assumptions are risky, what do most people use to motivate others? Let's explore that in the next chapter. Chapter 2, Carrots and Sticks. Why do so many companies rely on pressure and prizes to make people act? They offer rewards, discounts, or even threats, just to get results. It's called the carrots and sticks method. And while it may work for a while, it doesn't last. In this chapter, we learn that external motivation can move people's behavior, but it can't win their hearts. The moment the prize disappears, so does the motivation. That's why many brands struggle with loyalty. Customers buy once, then disappear. Real influence doesn't come from pushing people. It comes from connecting with them. And connection happens only when there's belief, when people feel something deeper. That's the power of purpose. People are not loyal to what you do. They're loyal to why you do it. Think about the brands or leaders you truly admire. Chances are, it's not just their product or service. It's the feeling behind it, their cause, their belief, their why. If we want to inspire, we need a better method than carrots and sticks. So what's the secret formula behind true inspiration? It all begins with a simple but powerful idea: the golden circle. Chapter 3, The Golden Circle. Picture 3 circles inside each other. In the center is why. The middle circle is how. And the outer one is what. This is the golden circle, the core concept of the book. Most people and businesses start from the outside. They tell you what they do, maybe how they do it, but they never explain why they do it. That's where they go wrong. Truly inspiring leaders and companies do the opposite. They start with why, their purpose, cause, or belief. Then comes how, the values or systems that bring that belief to life. And finally, what, the product or service they offer. Why does this matter? Because people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. When your message starts with why, it touches emotions. It creates trust. It builds loyalty. The golden circle is not a marketing trick. It's a way of thinking, acting, and communicating that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. So, now that we understand this powerful concept, how can we see it in action? The next chapter will show how the golden circle applies to real-world success. Chapter 4, This is not opinion, this is biology. What if your decisions are not logical, but biological? This chapter reveals a surprising truth: the golden circle is not just a theory. It's actually connected to how our brain works. Let's break it down. The outer circle, what, connects to the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thought and language. But the inner circles, how and especially why, connect to the limbic brain, which controls emotions, decision-making, and behavior. Here's the twist: the limbic brain doesn't understand language. It just feels. That's why people can say, "This just feels right," even if they can't explain why. When we start with why, we speak directly to the emotional part of the brain. And when people feel emotionally connected, they trust, they follow, and they stay loyal. So next time someone tells you, "This sounds like a good idea," ask yourself, do they believe in it, or just understand it? Because logic may convince the mind, but belief moves the heart. But how do great leaders bring this emotional connection into action? Get ready, the next chapter shows how belief turns into behavior. Chapter 5, Clarity, Discipline, and Consistency. Do people understand what you stand for? Can they feel it every time they see, hear, or experience your work? This chapter focuses on 3 powerful pillars: clarity of why, discipline of how, and consistency of what. First, you need clarity of why. If you're not clear about your purpose, no one else will be. Next, you need discipline of how. Your actions, values, and principles must align with your why. It's not about perfection, but about staying true to what you believe. And finally, consistency of what. Everything you do, say, and produce should reflect your belief. Over time, this builds trust. People start to believe in you, not just your product. Great leaders and companies don't confuse people with mixed messages. They repeat their purpose again and again, in their work, words, and choices. That's how trust is built. That's how movements grow. So if you want others to follow you, don't just say it once, live it always. But here's a question: what happens when someone doesn't just say why, but actually becomes the reason itself? The next chapter tells the story of someone who became the living symbol of a belief. Chapter 6, The Emergence of Trust. Imagine following someone not because of what they promise, but because of what they represent. This chapter dives deep into trust, the ultimate currency of leadership. Trust doesn't come from big speeches or flashy marketing. It comes when people feel that your words and actions match your beliefs, every time. Here's the key: trust emerges when we share values and beliefs. People don't trust you because you're perfect. They trust you because they believe you're real. Great leaders don't have to convince people to follow. They attract followers by being authentic. Their actions speak louder than their message. This is why consistency matters. One broken promise can destroy years of trust. But when your purpose, values, and actions align, people will stand by you, even when times are tough. This is not about manipulation. It's about inspiration. If you can create trust, you can create loyalty. And when people believe in you, they will go further than you ever imagined. So now, the question is, what makes someone a true leader people choose to follow? In the next chapter, we explore the difference between those who lead and those who only hold a position. Chapter 7, How a Tipping Point Tips. Why do some ideas explode while others fade away? This chapter explores the law of diffusion of innovation, a powerful pattern behind every major movement or successful product. Here's the idea: in every group, there are 5 types of people: innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Change always starts with the first 2, those who take risks because they believe. They don't need proof. They just need purpose. But here's the magic: when enough early adopters join in, the idea reaches a tipping point, a moment where belief spreads fast. That's when the early majority jumps in, not because they believe, but because they trust those who do. If you want your idea to go viral or your brand to grow, don't focus on everyone. Speak to those who believe what you believe. If they feel connected to your why, they will help spread the message and bring others with them. Remember, mass influence starts with a few. Next up, let's meet someone who turned belief into a full-blown revolution without saying a word. Chapter 8, Start with why, but know how. Do you need a team to turn a dream into reality? Absolutely. In this chapter, we learn that having a why is just the beginning. But to bring that vision to life, you need people who know how. Here's the truth, great leaders are not always the best at execution. But they inspire others who are. There are two types of people. The why types, who see the future, dream big, and inspire. The how types, who build the systems and make it happen. When a why type partners with a how type, that's where the magic happens. Think of visionaries and builders, dreamers and doers. So if you're a dreamer, find someone who can organize and execute. And if you're a doer, align with someone whose vision fires you up. Together, you don't just build companies, you build legacies. In the next chapter, we see what happens when why and how are out of sync, and the warning signs every leader should watch for. Chapter 9, Know why. Know how. Then what? What happens when success becomes dangerous? This chapter delivers a powerful warning: success can make us forget why we started. When a company or leader gets popular, it's easy to focus on the what, the product, the money, the growth, and lose sight of the original why. But here's the danger: when you forget your why, trust disappears. People notice. And they stop believing. That's why the best leaders constantly revisit their purpose. They don't let growth blind their vision. Take a moment and ask. Are your actions still aligned with your beliefs? Are your team and customers still inspired, or just buying? The how is important. The what is visible. But without the why, everything becomes hollow. Stay grounded. Stay clear. Stay true. Because in the next chapter, we will discover how a single belief can rally millions, and how one man inspired a movement that changed the world. Chapter 10, Communication is not about speaking, it's about listening. Why do some messages stick, while others vanish? In this chapter, we uncover the real secret behind powerful communication. It's not just what you say, it's what people hear and feel. Great leaders don't try to convince people with facts. They speak to the heart, not just the head. And the key to that? Start with why. When your message aligns with your purpose, people feel it. It resonates deep within them, like you're saying what they already believe. Here's a powerful insight. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Whether you're giving a speech, selling a product, or building a brand, the goal is not to be loud, but to be clear. Clarity of why attracts loyalty. Confusion pushes people away. So if you want your message to move people, don't just talk louder. Speak with purpose. Let your why lead every word. Next, we will meet someone who used this idea to lead history, without holding a single position of power. Chapter 11, When Why Goes Fuzzy. What happens when leaders forget why they started? This final chapter shares a clear message: when organizations lose their sense of purpose, everything starts to fall apart. At first, success comes from a strong why. But as time passes, focus shifts. The what takes over: profits, products, strategies. That's when the cracks begin. We see it in companies that were once beloved, but now feel empty. We feel it in leaders who once inspired, but now just manage. This chapter reminds us. The moment we lose our why, we lose trust, innovation, and direction. But there's hope. Leaders can reconnect with their why. It takes courage, clarity, and consistency. Remember, people don't follow leaders for the title. They follow them because they believe in the same cause. So, keep asking. Why do we exist? What belief drives our work? The future belongs to those who stay true, not just to their goals, but to their purpose. Chapter 12, Split happens. Have you ever felt your work is no longer aligned with your purpose? Like something just split? This chapter explains a crucial danger zone: when a company's why gets separated from its what. Success can be deceiving. As businesses grow, they often focus too much on what they're doing, their products, profits, or expansion, and slowly lose sight of why they started in the first place. That's when the split happens. And once the why is forgotten, even successful companies begin to feel empty, and eventually fall. But this isn't just about business. The same happens in life. When you act without purpose, your motivation fades. The key? Always align your decisions and actions with your original why. Whether you're leading a business or building a career, never lose touch with your deeper purpose. And in the next chapter, we'll discover where your why truly comes from. Chapter 13, The Origins of a Why. Have you ever wondered, where does your why actually come from? This chapter dives deep into the roots of inspiration. Your why is not created. It's discovered. Every person and organization already has a why. It lives in your past, shaped by your values, beliefs, and life experiences. The most successful leaders don't invent a mission, they uncover a deeper truth that already exists. And here's the powerful part, once you know your why, you can inspire others who share it. The golden circle starts with why, but it comes alive only when that why is authentic. It's the foundation for trust, loyalty, and leadership. So instead of chasing trends or copying others, look within. Reflect on what truly drives you. Because the most meaningful success comes from staying true to who you are. Next up, we'll explore how competition is evolving, and why purpose is now your greatest advantage. Chapter 14, The New Competition. In today's world, are you competing for customers, or for something deeper? This final chapter flips the idea of competition. It's not about beating others anymore. The new competition is about being the most authentic version of yourself. When you start with why, you don't worry about being better than others. You focus on being better than yourself, more aligned, more consistent, and more purposeful. Customers today don't just buy products. They support causes. They follow beliefs. They stay loyal to brands that reflect who they are. So the question is not, how do we compete? The real question is, how do we inspire? The companies and leaders who win today are the ones who stand for something, and share it clearly. And as we wrap up this audiobook, remember, the most powerful movements in history didn't start with a product. They started with a purpose. They started with why. Conclusion. So, what's the big idea behind everything we've learned? It's simple: if you want to inspire action, build trust, and lead lasting change, start with why. Whether you're building a company, leading a team, or creating a movement, people will only follow if they believe in what you believe. Your why is your compass. It's what sets you apart. Without it, your work becomes just another product or service. But with it, you create meaning. You build loyalty. You change lives. The world doesn't need more leaders with answers. It needs more leaders with purpose. So as you move forward, ask yourself, why do you do what you do? And let that answer guide every step. Now, it's your turn. If you've listened till now, it means you're a true book lover and excited to learn. Score high in the book summary self-assessment quiz and become a top ranker. The link is in the description. Complete the quiz, earn your self-assessment certificate, share your score in the comments, and show your friends how great your listening and understanding skills are in this Instagram age. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support us in this mission. Thank you.